people. I am sick, and I am not sick in the new year. This is sick in the past because we record these way before they come out. So, yeah. Happy Thanksgiving, actually. This is
yeah, happy Thanksgiving and happy New Year. We're covering all of our bases.
Yeah, we're running all our bases. I would like to start by saying I apologize if I seem a little bit congested and stuff. You're going to have to bear with me today. Sarah will probably take the lead in a lot of this stuff. So, welcome to Story Sirens, the podcast where we deep dive into our world's myths and mysteries with a side of bantering, laughter, and the occasional rant. And for today, sniffles. I'm Yenny.
And I'm Sarah. And Happy New Year! Today, we are talking about fox spirits. Hey, Yenny, did you know that foxes are my favorite animal? Alongside otters, of course. I have several fox art pieces in my house.
Which is crazy because am I even your best friend? I had no idea.
Really?
I thought you were all about unicorns because of the last unicorn.
Oh.
Did you get my box? Did you get your bridal box?
No, I haven't gotten my box yet. It hasn't come in yet. It'll probably come in today. Jared ordered something for me too for our anniversary, and it hasn't come in either. Like, he is stressed.
Okay.
But
yeah.
Back to your point about unicorns. One, I am allowed to have more than one favorite animal. I already said foxes and otters, so yes, it is the trifecta: foxes, otters, and unicorns.
Fair.
But also, I'm still waiting to see a unicorn in real life. I've seen a fox and an otter in real life.
Oh, come on, Sarah. They're called rhinos.
How
They're big unicorns.
Dare you? So, as always, there are many different variations to fox myths and legends around the world. We are only going to be covering some myths today. We may be covering more fox myths in the future, fingers crossed. But we've condensed today's episode to feature 6 specific fox spirits or fox legends that we think are very interesting to share a little extra info about.
Definitely.
Yenny, want to get us started?
Let's start it off. First on the list for today is a fan favorite in modern media. You'll see them in animes, cartoons, live-action dramas, which are really good, by the way. And more than likely, there's about 20 of them at every convention. So if you guess the kitsune, aka trickster fox, you get 10 points.
10 points to the listeners!
Kitsunes come from traditional Japanese folklore and fall under the category of yokai. If you recall this term, we covered it in our Snow Maidens episode. Just in case, though, here's a quick recap. Yokai are supernatural creatures with godlike power and can be good or bad, and viewed as either protectors or evildoers.
Depends on how they're feeling that day.
I agree. Sometimes I feel like that too, you know? You're like, today, I'm going to be a bitch. You
We've all
wake
been
up
there.
and you go, today.
It's the day. Nobody talk to me.
In Spanish, it's called like waking up con el moño virado, which it literally translates to waking up with your ponytail on the wrong side.
Okay. So
Yeah.
It's like waking up on the wrong side of the bed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there you go.
Got it.
Besides that, said to live for hundreds of years, kitsune become more powerful the older they get. Their power is that of shape-shifting, able to take whatever form, from a nasty monster to a beautiful human, male or female. Although I will say they are predominantly female. There are only very few cases where any of the fox spirits, at least in the eastern hemisphere that I'll be covering, are male. Some kitsunes enjoy shifting actually into humans, so much so that some of them have held jobs and even raised families as humans.
Pardon? What? Excuse me?
I don't know if I'd be upset. I'd be like, this is kind of cool.
I'd be into it, but I'm like, really? You want a job?
Yeah, out of all things. But there's quite a few kinks to their awesome shape-shifting power. If they aren't careful, their disguise may falter, particularly when they're startled or have had one too many gin and tonics. Catch my drift? If either of the two happen, their tail might suddenly appear, or fangs, even a patch of fur. And this is where I got so sad because, oh no, Sarah, this brought me back to like our werewolf episode. Remember that if they found like a patch of fur, they would think they were a werewolf? Do you think that these people were just caught and in fact they were like startled or maybe drunk kitsunes?
No, that makes me so sad.
Kitsunes are also known to grow multiple tails, 9 being the highest number. Now, I did check 9, and it actually symbolizes something unlucky.
Oh.
So that was strange. And bear with me, the 9-tailed fox is said to be the most powerful and wise of all. And should you see a golden or white 9-tailed fox, you are looking at a tenko, or a heavenly fox. So if you're looking at a heavenly fox, how could that be unlucky?
Yeah.
What's going on here? I don't know. That part I didn't really get, but yeah, 9 is an unlucky number in Japan.
How strange.
Yeah. Speaking of heavenly, well, most commonly known as trickster foxes, there are some holy foxes, like the tenko. Shinto deity Inari, kami, god or spirit, of rice, fertility, agriculture, tea, prosperity, and success, she a busy girl,
I love her.
has holy foxes as servants, which is the cutest thing.
Aw, I love
fox
that.
servants. They're so
love
cute.
that.
They get scratchies
They
for
do.
doing good jobs.
Oh my gosh, they'd love it.
These holy foxes served Inari and also were messengers for the gods between the celestial and human world.
I love that. That's so cute.
Yeah.
Okay, so we shall travel to Greece for our next legend.
Oh, I love traveling.
In Grecian mythology, there is the Tunisian fox, or the Tunisian vixen, which was a giant fox that had the remarkable ability of being uncatchable. In some myths, the Tunisian fox was the offspring of a violent storm giant who had been sealed away in Tartarus by Zeus. Now, in this particular legend, the one we're covering today,
Yes.
the Tunisian fox had been sent by the gods to torment the people of Thebes as punishment against the founder of the city, King Cadmus. Granted, King Cadmus was long dead by this point, after having suffered enough by the hands of the gods during his lifetime, but the Olympians were never known to easily forgive.
Yeah, talk about holding grudges.
Yeah, for sure. But anyway, back to the fox. The men of Thebes hunted the fox, chasing it around the city, ordering their wives to lock up their homes and not let the children wander and play outside. The fox had a special appetite for children, of course.
They gotta eat something. They always gotta eat someone.
They do.
had to do it.
They do. But as stated earlier, no one could catch the giant fox. The men turned to the current ruler of Thebes, King Creon, for help. So Creon summoned the hero Amphitryon.
Okay, hold on.
Yes?
We have someone that is not Hercules in our podcast?
We do.
This is crazy.
But guess what?
What?
In some legends, he's the stepfather of Hercules.
Oh, for fun.
You just can't get
He's
away.
always somewhere. No, you can't.
You can't get away from him. So Creon summoned the hero Amphitryon, who owed him a favor from a previous adventure the two had shared. The hero accepts the call and obtains the magical dog Laelaps to help him capture the giant fox. Now, Laelaps was a dog blessed by the gods with the ability to always catch his prey. So, when Laelaps was sent after the Tunisian fox, the two chased each other in a never-ending pursuit, thus creating a paradox. The fox could never be caught, but the dog would always catch his prey. After watching the two magical beasts torment each other in their constant battle, Zeus finally intervened and turned both creatures to stone.
How is that helpful?
I don't know.
How did you help they were doing their jobs and they were doing it very well, and because of that you turn them into stone. I don't understand this guy.
Well, don't worry. Their constant chase could continue because he gathered them up and placed them in the heavens as constellations. They are still chasing each other to this day as the constellations Canis Major and Canis Minor.
While it is a cool story, I feel like it is very unfortunate because that's not fair. That is not fair.
I agree.
All right, let's go back towards the eastern side.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about Chinese mythology's fox spirit, Hulijing. Hulijing has many translations, some of which are fox fairy, fox essence, and exquisite fox.
Ooh.
But as the years have passed, the translation has transformed into something a bit less enchanting. Perhaps because the Hulijing likes to transform into a soul-sucking enchantress?
So, a fox succubus?
Oh, girl, buckle up, listeners, because this was not on purpose, but of course, I got this. I was the one to research this one. Because of this, modern colloquial translations of Hulijing include enchantress, vixen,
the female name for a fox.
Yeah, but not for this one. And some other colorful words that I'd like to think were written down by the men who were foolish enough to, 1, be enchanted by a spirit, or, more than likely, committed adultery and got caught.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Let's talk a little bit more about what these words exactly mean. The word huli means fox, while the word jing means male life essence, aka man's little swimmers. I kid you not, I have a horny story for y'all, and like I said, I didn't even plan it.
Well, I will say, considering the fact that our podcast first started with Akatar and Tamlin and a child being born of a human and a fairy, I'm not surprised that we've come to this point.
I mean, shit. So, one of the earliest tales of this fox spirit comes from the folk story Hong Yu, the Fox Fairy. In this tale, the fox must drain a man of his life essence through intercourse to be able to live a full life. Talk about you can't live with them, but you can't live without them. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
While most fox spirits would stay the night continuously making the men, who were usually scholars, give them their life essence, you go girls, and then escape by dawn, Hong Yu returns to aid the scholar she was with and gives him a beautiful woman to have as his wife.
Okay, now hold up. So she's taking his life essence, but also helping him and giving him a bride. So does that make her a fox with benefits?
Oh my God. I love that. I love that so much. She is your fellow fox with benefits. Unfortunately, Hong Yu did just too much of a good job finding him a beautiful woman.
Oh no.
Because a powerful man kidnaps the wife, and refusing to be assaulted by this man, the wife takes her life.
No!
Yeah. The powerful man mysteriously dies, and the blame is pinned on the scholar, with his infant son being thrown down a mountain as a form of punishment.
No.
This story just got really dark. Hong Yu comes to the rescue, though, saving the baby boy and ending up helping the scholar.
Oh, thank goodness.
There's a lot more to it, but I tried to condense it, and
Right.
these were like the key points. But the story is wild. And if you're wondering why do they only seduce scholars, it is because the Hulijing loves the virtue scholars obtain. It's a whole new meaning to be a nerd. You know what I'm saying? You get the Hulijing around you. With enough of the scholar's life essence, the fox spirit could turn into a human, and after 1,000 years, it would turn into the nine-tailed fox, who is able to journey through both the celestial and human realms. If you realize, this kind of coincides with the kitsune, right?
Yeah,
the kitsune,
it really does.
Once they live 1,000 years, they can turn into a nine-tailed fox.
Yeah.
And be in both realms. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool how
Okay.
they tie.
Yeah, no, that's way cool. Okay, so after that wholesome story, we are going to move to a certain character in fox lore and mythology, not a specific story. So, let's check out the foxes of medieval Europe. Across Germany, France, and England, stories of Reynard the Fox and the animal society he inhabited, that sounded strangely like our own society, could be heard. Picture Zootopia, but medieval.
I love that movie, and I'm so excited for the second one to come out.
So, Reynard is a typical trickster character, and his stories take place in a world populated by animals, and the stories are primarily satirical, poking fun of common societal tropes like politicians, religious leaders, court politics, I know I already said politics, romance, stuff like that. The oldest written copies we have of the stories were written in Old French, but the story has been documented in various countries, each country putting its own cultural spin on Reynard. Other characters in the Reynard the Fox stories include Reynard's uncle, Isengrim the Wolf, the Prince of Cats, Tybert or Tybalt. This may sound familiar to you if you are a fan of Shakespeare when Mercutio calls Tybalt the Prince of Cats in order to provoke him.
Oh my gosh!
King Noble the Lion, Brune the Bear, Grimbald the Badger, and many more characters. The stories of Reynard vary in genre, and as a result are attributed to the all-encompassing genre of beast epic. Reynard himself is, as mentioned before, a trickster, a coward, and has quite the temper. But he is always the hero of the stories, and is a sympathetic hero to the reader, as he is a symbol of cunning and wits, overcoming brute strength and force. He isn't a good guy, but he's who we cheer for because we see within him our strengths, our flaws, and his charm.
I love this so much, and it also gives so he's kind of like an anti-hero.
Yeah, for sure. Around 26 different stories of Reynard are available for readers currently. There may be more out there, but we know for a fact that there are at least 26 at this point in time that have been found and translated in their entirety. Fun fact with this, Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, the philosopher and author of Faust, The Sorrow of Young Werther, poems, scientific papers, and more, published his own version of the Reynard tales known as Reineke the Fox. He discovered a retelling of the French tales in 1792 while taking part in the Battle of Valmy, part of a failed Prussian siege of France. Goethe was overwhelmed by the war and felt like an outcast and a failure. I mean, he was a scholar, he was a philosopher, he was a thinker, he wasn't a soldier. The stories of a clever fox brought him much-needed distraction, and he couldn't help but see the similarity in the absurdity of Reynard's world and his own. The social criticism in the medieval tales spoke deeply to Goethe. He got to work on creating his own version of the story, staying true to the original ideas and themes, while adding his own flair and making Reynard/Reineke a hero for a modern, enlightened age. His epic poem is still available for purchase today, so readers rejoice. And as well, you can also read a modern retelling in Reynard the Fox as told by Anne-Louise Avery. Final fun fact of this portion, the modern French word for fox is renard. The popularity of the Reynard stories caused the hero's name to replace goupil, the old French word for fox.
Well, I like renard more than goupil.
So do I.
All right, back to the east we go. And I promise, no sexy time stories this time. Although men again are the victims in this tale.
As always.
The gumiho is a nine-tailed fox in Korean folklore that also transforms into a beautiful woman and seduces men. But fear not, nothing sexual happens. Instead, the gumiho eats their liver or heart.
And we're back to eating.
Absolutely. So, Korean myth states that a fox who lives to be 1,000 years old will turn into a gumiho. And if the gumiho decides it will not eat humans for the next 1,000 years, it will turn into a human. Now, I also did read that the gumiho, if it absorbs 1,000 souls, then it too can become a human. So I guess it is up to the fox spirit to decide whether or not it will be good or bad.
Strangely enough, this reminds me a little bit of the original Little Mermaid story where at the end, if people choose to do good or bad, that would help grant her her human soul. Very interesting. Very interesting,
yeah. Unlike what we covered with the kitsune and the hulijing being either good or bad spirits, the gumiho is seen as a neutral, self-centered spirit, meaning whatever it does for the benefit of itself, which is to gain as much power as possible to finally become a higher being, which in this case we can perhaps link to becoming a human.
Okay.
Gumiho are also known to carry beads known as, and I am sorry if I say this wrong, Yowu Gusul, or fox marble, which is what I'm going to call it for the rest of this time because I do not want to insult any Korean speakers out there.
Fox marble sounds really adorable.
It does, but it's not.
I figured it wasn't.
Now, these fox marbles provide them the life essence they need, aka human souls. How do they acquire human souls? By kissing, of course. See? I kept my promise. No sexy time. Just a little kiss on the lips. The Gumiho will kiss their victim and transfer the fox marble into them, where it will lay inside the human host and suck their life essence.
Okay, this is way worse than mono.
Oh my God, yes. I had mono. I would not wish that on anybody.
Yep.
That was bad. When the Gumiho returns, it'll kiss the human once more and obtain the fox marble, now filled with their essence, and the human will have no recollection of the encounter. The fox spirit must remember to come back to the human, though, because if they leave it there for a year, the fox marble will actually kill the host.
What?
But I don't think that's much of a problem if the Gumiho is deciding to have the human's heart for lunch.
Yeah, so what does it matter?
Doesn't matter.
What does it matter? Oh, all right, Yinny. Let's go back to Greece. And again, we're not focusing on a specific fox, but rather a category of foxes, and those would be the foxes in Aesop's Fables. First off, what are Aesop's Fables, or Aesop, or, whatever your preferred pronunciation is? In short, they are timeless stories with morals. They are a collection of stories credited to a former slave and storyteller named Aesop, who lived in the 6th century BC. Now, considering there are over 700 tales in the collection, whether all of the stories in the collection come directly from Aesop, historians are still arguing.
700?
Yeah.
You think we can make it to 700 episodes?
Oh, for sure.
I did the math, and it'll take us 13 years. So we'll be in our 40s.
Okay, time passes anyway. Let's pass it doing something fun.
Let's pass it doing something fun, girl.
So, passed down orally through the generations, the stories were not written down until roughly 300 years after Aesop's death. So, a few other authors may have slipped their own stories in there. Nevertheless,
Probably.
Aesop's Fables is still a highly esteemed collection of short, moralistic stories that to this day are being retranslated, reprinted, and introduced to new generations. My mom actually used a book of Aesop's Fables to help me learn how to read just because, the stories are very short. And, it's about talking animals and all that sort of stuff.
Aww.
So the stories are allegorical. And as I mentioned a moment ago, they feature animals and insects, and occasionally humans, in various situations that would be sympathetic to the listener/reader, following the creatures in their misguided misadventures until the moral is revealed. The most popular fables include the story of the hard-working ant and the lazy grasshopper, the tortoise and the hare, the lion with the thorn in his paw and the mouse who saved him, the goose that laid the golden egg, the boy who cried wolf, and the fox and the sour grapes. Of the estimated 700-plus stories attributed to Aesop, there are 28 featuring foxes in most reprintings of the book. The foxes in the fables are often clever, cunning, wily, and selfish. They charm others to get their way, offer wisdom for themselves when others are foolish, and curse what they cannot have for themselves. Once again, we see ourselves in the foxes, in their cleverness and cruelty, and their honesty and hubris.
Aw, love that. Now, through these 6 different types of foxtails from all around the world, we can gather a few things about our new furry little friends. They are cunning,
intelligent,
sly,
mischievous,
adapt to their surroundings,
and are resilient creatures.
Foxes are as fascinating in the real world as they are in myths and legends. Foxes have adapted to living in both forest areas and in cities. Garden sheds and bushes can be a little fox friend's home. They have low-frequency hearing, able to hear rodents scurrying around from hundreds of miles away. And contrary to popular belief, foxes can be friendly. Sarah, didn't you tell me that foxes are starting to become domestic?
Yes. So in Russia, wildlife biologists are looking at speeding up the process of domestication. But across Europe and America, wild foxes are following the lead of their feline neighbors. They are learning that humans can sometimes mean food and shelter. And if they act calmly or friendly towards them, that will increase their chances of having food and water offered to them.
I want a fox.
I do too. I love them. And as we said at the beginning of this episode, there are fox legends across the globe. So we only covered a handful, and we do plan to revisit these little creatures another time. Now, foxes in modern media.
Let's go. I can't start off this list without my Pokemon people uniting. Ninetales, the first-gen fire-type Pokemon in the Pokemon series and franchise. Did you know that Ninetales can live up to 1,000 years due to the immense power in each of its tails? I love how Japan used their own folklore in this and actually many other Pokemon.
Right? And isn't Shippo from Inuyasha a fox spirit or yokai too?
Oh my god.
Again with the self-referencing. I love it.
And I also loved Shippo.
I loved Shippo. He was so adorable. I love him. Okay, so in other modern media, the Huli Jing makes an appearance in season 1 of the Netflix show Love, Death, and Robots in the episode Good Hunting. In the episode, a young Huli Jing and the son of a spirit hunter must navigate a quickly changing world. It's probably my favorite episode of the entire show. We've also referenced this series quite a bit on the podcast. That might be a me problem.
No, but it's so good. Is that the series is just so awesome.
It is.
Now, Fox Spirit by Min Ding is a 5-minute stop-motion film about a fox spirit transformed into a beautiful woman who lures men into her shop, only to turn them into mannequins.
Ooh.
I found this while I was doing my research, and I think that the creator Min Ding needs a whole lot more love because it's actually like a really, really cute, well, not cute, it's a really cool 5-minute stop-motion film.
Oh, I can't wait to check it out.
Also, you know I have to bring it up. Sarah already brought it up once. Lucian in A Court of Thorns and Roses must wear a mask, like all other Fae in Prythian, due to the curse placed on the land. Lucian wears a fox mask, perhaps due to his sly and cunning nature, the same as foxes.
The fox in the storybook, the boy, the mole, the horse, and the fox, is reminiscent of the foxes in the stories of Aesop, except this fox has a redemption arc and is able to learn to overcome his aggressive tendencies, learn to trust, and share his cleverness and wisdom with the boy.
I also have not seen this movie because I just don't want to cry. And I've heard that, like, everybody cries.
So they just adapted it into an animated short film last year. Like, they released, like, right around Christmas season. I watched it. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. You can also, like, read the little storybook, like, in 30 minutes. It's very sweet and heartfelt. It's not super deep or anything, but it's very sweet and charming.
Which makes me cry, because anything sweet and charming makes me cry. It's a problem. Fantastic Mr. Fox, directed by Wes Anderson, has a stellar cast. George Clooney, Meryl Streep, Owen Wilson, Bill Murray, and the list goes on.
Yes.
The stop-motion film revolves around a fox, Mr. Fox, and his family alongside other animals in the area. Mr. Fox's love for thieving comes at a price, and a battle between animals and farmers ensue. This is not a kid's movie. It's definitely, like, adult-centered. It's really funny because they have, like, animals being realtors and, like, lawyers and stuff. It's really, really cute. If you have the time to watch it, I really recommend it.
If you do want a kids movie, may we recommend everyone's first foray into the realm of furries, Disney's Robin Hood, where our titular character is a very handsome vulpine.
If you're looking for some comedy and also an adult movie, I highly encourage you to watch Robin Hood Men in Tights. Sarah's right. It does not feature any foxes.
It doesn't.
But it has a very foxy lead. Cary Elwes when he was way younger, if
true.
you like The Prince's Bride.
He's so dreamy. He's so dreamy.
Yeah, he was dreamy. Now he's an older man.
How dare you? He could still be dreamy. All right, so, Yenny, I do have one issue. We never answered the question, what does the fox say?
Oh, God.
I kid. I know that joke's been done into the ground, and I'm just throwing another handful of dirt on it. Besides, foxes don't say anything. They just scream, and I love it.
Okay, but wait a second. Did you know that they also have 40 different sounds? Yeah, we're going to be dreaming about foxes tonight.
Ooh, I wonder what that symbolizes.
The number 40? Dang it, I didn't check. To numerology for next time, because I am probably getting a fever right now. Anywho, Sarah, why don't you help us with the siren call today, because I am tapped out.
All right. Folks, for our siren call today, give some love to Mending's Fox Spirit. It's 5 minutes long and surely will leave you in awe with the stop-motion animation, the textiles used, and the story it tells. Plus, you could just kick back, relax, and watch fantastic Mr. Fox. Clooney's waiting for you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Have a good one. Thanks for listening to Story Sirens. You can follow us on Instagram at Story Sirens Podcast. Want to support us? Send us a cup of Ko-fi by searching ko-fi.com/storysirens. We've got lots of treats for those who become siren seekers. All research materials can be found in the episode summary. Music by Donald Guzzi and artwork by Alexis Torres. Story Sirens is a Feather and Fin production. See you soon.